Here you can see that I'm rolling and the parking brake is set. So now the parking brake is fixed. And we're still waiting for parts for the hydraulic brakes. We're going to change the oil on this thing. Who knows when they maintain this thing. And then we're going to flush the cooling system.
Something happened here.
I think he hooked onto something, probably pulled it out or caught on something.
Yeah, there's a dinger here, like maybe it's going to reverse.
Oh yeah, right here.
Broke the weld on there. I believe this to be the oil filter. Looks like it was changed at 864 hours, so about 1,000 hours ago, back in 1988, by Larry.
So we have a nice fresh air filter, and this puppy can breathe. We do have a slight miss, and we're going to have to go through electrical, but we're probably doing stuff that hasn't been done since when, like 80s or something. I blew this out before, and there was a lot of dirt in it. That was good for a while, but
this one, if you show it real quick, this one's got a nice like rubber seal on the bottom. This one,
just was a flat gasket.
Yeah, probably doesn't matter much.
Well, that's good. So this is what is in question. We order a brand new filter, and you can see the oil goes through two little holes. It's got a giant oil line going here for flow, and then you're restricting it down to two small little holes. So check this out and see if theirs is the same way. The oil pressure is up at 50.
That looks like a regular oil filter to me. You can see right down into the element. I don't think we're going to run that one we got over there. We got that from cross-reference out of the parts book. Let's see if we can get a number off of this filter maybe. Looks like we got a PZ1 here. We'll cross-reference this and run this filter instead. The other filter is ridiculous. Alright.
You can see how it flows through all those holes, and there's a nice big opening in the center. I mean, I don't even understand how they think this is going to work. This is solid with a pinhole there. And then, just two holes. And then you look at this one, and it goes all the way down. You know, the oil is going through the filters and then comes up through and then out to the motor. I mean, this maintains the same flow as those big oil lines that are going to it. This Wix filter, I think they forgot to drill the holes.
I had to use my thin pan underneath there, and it took all the oil right up to the edge.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know how we're going to get it out of there, but using this jack, you got to put a lot of pressure in the handle of this jack to try to get this machine up. I don't like it, so I want to jack it up as 3 times as possible.
So we're draining the radiator fluid out of it now, and then we'll just put regular water in it and flush it, and then put fresh antifreeze in it.
It appears there's like a heater hose that goes to a valve to preheat the propane or something. Because the propane comes in here. I'm not flipping you off either. We're going to take a T and we're going to splice it in here. Pressure reduction coupler. There we go. Here's our overflow. Got a bunch of mud in there. We'll get her cleaned up. Got her right at the top. So we got some hardware for this. $33 that cost. Probably date this video with the cost of this, but as of right now, that's a lot of money for 2 bolts and some nuts.
Where'd you go? Ace Hardware? Ace Hardware is really expensive.
Heck yeah, it is. So we'll show you why we're doing this. So we bolted on here, it's going to go through this entire like cast ballast piece. But what we had was this plate that was just held on with these little hooks and 2 3/8-inch bolts. Here you got this massive thing on here. I'm gonna try to reuse this plate. We want to turn it sideways.
Big attachment plate and a strong spindle hitch was attached with 2 little 3/8 bolts, and somebody welded it up here, but that just cracked off. This thing should just be a easy access plate. And if you know, we're gonna be traveling this thing on a heavy duty trailer and hauling it to different places where friends might need a forklift. And when you wrap a chain through here and strap it down, then there's eyelets up in front, strap it down. If you did go off road and like a flat tire and you flipped it, this thing would have broke off so fast the forklift would have gone off into traffic, and you can have a catastrophic effect. An edge on it.
Yeah, we're gonna clean this up and probably gonna maybe even weld in where some of these cuts are.
Paint it black. Well, I'm just gonna grind these level, then we're gonna put a handle on it. While I'm doing that, he'll be heating this up, bending 290s, then it'll be easier to lift this plate off.
We're gonna weld the holes up for appearance. There she is. We'll get her into some metal etch. We got these as straight as we can get them. And
we're putting on stuff because this vehicle has been neglected for so long. It's got a breather can here that's all rusted. And as we start to work on this thing, we're gonna be cleaning things up. So we're putting a new breather on it, and we're gonna paint it so it doesn't rust. When this is all done, and it's painted yellow and everything, it's gonna be like a toy, you know, not like a work vehicle. You know, we're gonna have it all dialed in and painted and take care of it. So this has screw threads on it. Jeez. I doubt if that was ever serviced.
is there stuff in there?
Here's this crappy gasket.
There's the breather installed. Best looking part on the whole engine.
When I'm showing guys how to work on stuff, if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it well. This thing had parts cut off and everything. We filled it all in with weld, ground it level. There's nothing worse than when you look at a cool car and it's got a cool paint job and everything, and somebody had hacked the rear end out of another car and they used a cutting torch and they cut the brackets off of a rear end, and then they weld some ladder bar mounts on it or whatever, and you can see where the old brackets were welded on and stuff. If you're gonna go through all this trouble, you should at least fill in all the gouges where the cutting torch made depressions into your rear axle, grind it all smooth, sand it, paint it, and when somebody looks underneath your car, it looks clean, like it's, you know, a brand new item. This is the original plate that was bolted to that cover, and then it had a spindle hitch hanging, and they burned holes in there. So we welded up all the holes, and then he's got to get a 3/4 inch drill, and he's going to drill the holes for mounting the spindle hitch. And then there's 2 holes that go through the back of the ballast weight, and then he's going to put D-rings so when you haul it, you know, it'd just be a chunk of iron with a hole through it, and then you'd put a screw-in pin, and then the chains would go to each corner, and then that would be a safe way to travel down the road. And now we're going to chop a plate that matches the 4 holes for the spindle hitch. Weld a square tube on it, drill a hole through it, and on the back plate of the forklift we'll have a square tube like a receiver, and just throw a pin in it when we need to use the hitch.
Here's our new USA made pintle hitch.
Right, and when you look at this, it says you're not supposed to do any modifications to it. And what happens is it interferes with the holes like this. So if you ground it out or anything, and you did get an accident, this thing launched and hit somebody else's car, they might end up saying, "What did you do there? You were cutting away at it." So trying to keep everything legal. I just like knocking corners off so nobody ever gets cut later on. We got these punches that are all to size. They fit right in the hole so it gets you perfectly centered. Well, with these, we've talked about this before. Since they're more precision, you don't want to wreck them, so you just give it a tap, tap. And this is so thick of metal that first I'll start out with 1/4 of an inch, and then we'll go to the 1/2 inch hole. Well, you can see this is the plate that bolts up to the forklift. We got marked. Put that in there. Plate gets welded to that. This thing gets bolted to this. And then you can take it off. So it won't be sticking out, you know, when you're taking a turn. All of a sudden, clunk, hit the spindle hitch. You can just pull the pin and have that off.
These pieces are pretty heavy duty compared to what was on there.
It was a joke. It had 2 little bolts, 3/8 bolts holding it on. And we saw them pulling a car with it.
The new no hitch look. 10-ton made in USA. I looked for a smaller one but didn't find one readily, so I just got this. I think some grade 8 bolts are in order for this, maybe a little bit shorter. I just used what I had for now. Not bad. I think I will reposition this up about maybe 3/4 of an inch. And we'll get around to painting the machine. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.